Well, Chris, a 2-1 win on the final day and a perfect way to end the season. Just how pleasing was that?
Yeah, no, delighted. We knew it was going to be tough today. Kings Langley away is never an easy place to come, and it was backs to the wall in terms of personnel today, and the fitness levels at the end we were running on empty. But do you know what, these boys just continue to give everything they can, and it was actually a pleasure and a little bit emotional actually. I found myself at the end of the game because these young kids, they're just like given absolutely everything today. And sometimes you can stand there and feel proud and everything, and you've just lost. But you actually, when you win, and how proud I felt, having lost on Thursday night against a really good Rushden side, that was for me, I've been managing for a long time, but that for me was one of the best performances I've ever had as a manager, from a set of lads, young, who just gave everything, absolutely everything. I was actually surprised at how hard they worked today. It sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But they managed the game so well second half. And I think 2-1 probably flattered Kings Langley, if I'm being honest. I thought we had 3 or 4 really good chances second half, and no, delighted.
You had to make a number of changes once again for various different reasons, and then you had Charlie Patterson pull out with his hammy during the warm-up. And I suppose, you know, when you have to make those changes and you're down to the bare bones, it just emphasises how good that win is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you look at the scoreline and people just think 2-1, but they won't understand. You know, I think we played the last 8 or 9 minutes with 10 men, and it was just the lads on the pitch. It was they were just. You could see 8 or 9 of them were limping, but do you know what? They found energy and strength. And mentally, I pointed out half time because I could see what was going to happen. And I said, when you're winning a game 2-1, you'll find energy. When you're losing a game 3 or 4-1, you can sometimes mentally it can get into your head. So it was about being mentally strong. And to be fair, every single one of them was fantastic.
A word for the goals. Obviously, Jenson finishing the season with his goal and as our top scorer as well. Great work from Pharrell down the right-hand side. And then Will Glennon just before half-time getting yet another goal in what's been a remarkable season for him. 2 great goals and well worthy of the win. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Pharrell done ever so well for the first goal. I thought he was really unlucky then with a chance to make it 2-0. Their goal... We, as a manager and a management team, we felt we could have done something about their goal, but it's a 25-yard strike, top corner. Then, if you can do that past Sneds, then so be it. You know, take your chance. And the second goal, it was quite interesting because we felt we had to change the shape again. And as soon as we changed the shape, I thought we just looked much better again. And the second goal was a brilliant move. The boys done ever so well, and Will finished it well. So, no, absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted.
You touched on the fans earlier on, and I think at the scenes at the end there, I've not seen scenes like that at the end for a long time. It's obviously the end of a really tough season, but the fact that the players and yourself have gone round, shook everyone's hands, you're all standing there, the fans were singing, it was just such quite a poignant moment in a way, wasn't it?
I think, like I said, I pointed out to the boys before the game and just after the game, like for some of you it's going to be your last time playing for Rushden. Whether that's the club's choice, you know, the players' choice, and obviously some are on loan, but just enjoy it, you know, and savour moments like that because we've been relegated, and there'll be loads to talk about next year. But that's the thing you want to be focusing on tonight. When I go to bed tonight, that's what I'll be thinking about, you know. And some people will be thinking that's strange, but but no, I just thought it was a special moment, and people should enjoy it because winning football matches is not easy at step 3. Winning away to Kings Langley is not easy, and doing it the way we did it, and I feel there's a real connection. Which is what I wanted when I took the job. You know, I wanted there to be a connection with the supporters because everyone at the moment is going through a sort of real difficult time financially, and if you're coming to support a team, even if they don't win, you want to see effort, hard work, hunger and desire, and when you've got all that and you're winning, then it's a double whammy, isn't it? So good day.
Normally I ask you about the next game. We're always looking forward, aren't we? But now that we are at the end of the season, what does the short-term future look like for you? Are you planning on having maybe a couple of weeks rest, or does the prepping for the season start to crank up a bit?
Well, look. I mean, at this stage of the season, what you do today is you enjoy today because this is the end of the season, and you want to be with the boys for the last time, and some of them we probably won't see again. And then what we've then got to try and establish in terms of just as a football club, like where the club. Like next year, we don't know what league it will be in, and the board obviously then have got to work out financially where they want to go and the expectation levels of what the club want to do. You know, and it's like, you know, they've been brilliant with me. You know, everybody at the club, the supporters to Rob and Alex to Scott and Joseph. You know, it's everyone's been brilliant. So the club's probably gone through some dark days, but now you sort of feel like it's coming through the other end. So. Just enjoy the ride.
In terms of the squad that you've got, you've obviously made a lot of signings since you've come in, some of them permanent, some of them loans, so I'm sure we'll go back to their clubs after today. In terms of next year and how you go about assembling the squad, what's that going to look like for you? How would you go about planning that?
You know, I think there are like 3 or 4 sort of phases you go through pre-season. You have a sort of wish list of what you'd like. You have which is highly unlikely a lot of the time, but you dangle a carrot. But primarily, it is about making sure that everything is right off the pitch first. You've got to get your foundations right. You've got to make sure your management team is right. You've got to get the right people around you. I think the environment that you offer is sometimes more important than the players. And if you offer a good environment, then players will want to come to you. So, yeah, from my point of view, you always want to attract good players, but you've got to get the mentality of the players has got to be right. Today, and I'm not being disrespectful at all to Kings Langley when I say this, they've got 3 or 4 players who I believe should be playing higher. I think they're exceptional players, you know, and my lads today mentally were just a little bit stronger because they wanted to, and I kept pointing out to them, you never know who's watching today. You're young players, so anyone could be watching from a pro club today, so go out there and show what you can do. Play for you, play for Rushden, but play for you. And that's what they did, some of them. So you want to try and find, sometimes it's not all about the lad who scored 40 goals for this team and, you know, and the goalkeeper who's kept 20 clean sheets for this team. It's about finding the right players that are going to fit into what we want. And that's really important. And sometimes it might not be ability, it might be heart, it might be passion, it might be hunger, it might be pace. It can be a checklist. But don't worry too much about a little book with loads of names on it that says we want that player, because from what I can see, what we've done in the previous 10 games has not been based upon an experienced 40-year-old, well, 40 years probably extreme, but 30-year-old centre midfielder pulling strings, you know, the 30-goal a season striker. We've done it through hard work, teamwork, a togetherness, and those are things you've got to install to the players that you want, not just a name, because names cost money. And I want to have a spirit that we had today. They're just young lads who've just bought into what we're doing, and that is what you need at every football club, at every level, you know. Arsenal have shown this season, we won't talk about last night, but Arsenal have shown this season that sometimes these young hungry players can give you more than an £80 million player or a £100 million player. So I don't know if that even answers your question, Jeff. I can't even remember what the question was.
We'll just move it on then, and just lastly from me, because Scott's phone will be burning, what would your end of season message be to the supporters? You know, it's been a long, hard campaign, but it's time to look forward now, isn't it? Look ahead to next year.
Yeah, you know, the supporters have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And today, well, look, going back to the very first interview that I did with you guys, you know, all I want to do is put a smile on faces. I want it to be an environment where everyone's happy. I want the players to be happy. I want the supporters to be happy. And when people are not, it breaks down. The whole thing breaks down. So we've all got to, look, it sounds corny, we've got to be rowing in the same way, in the same direction, and it will work. So for me, it's a massive thank you to the supporters. Don't forget your season tickets and enjoy today, you know, because we don't know what's around the corner, do we, in life? So enjoy moments like today, look forward to next season, have a great summer, and we go again.
Well, Chris, thanks for all the time you've made to do all these interviews this season. Have a great summer yourself, and we'll see you again for pre-season in whatever that is.
Brilliant, thank you.
This is AFCRDTV, and the curtain comes down on the 22-23 season. In a victorious way, it finishes Kings Langley 1, AFC Rushden Diamonds 2, and the man of the match for Diamonds is Pharrell Anderson, number 10 today. Well done, Pharrell.
Thank you.
And wow, you got to play a full 90 minutes today. When did you find out from the manager, Chris Nunn, that you were starting the game today?
Today in the changing room. I wasn't expecting to start because I've had this in my 5th game this week in a row, so I wasn't really expecting to start. I thought I was going to come on last 15-ish, save my minutes, but happy to get the full 90, and I just put it all in.
Oh, that's fantastic. The Diamonds were running a bit thin today. We only had 2 subs on the bench, the 2 Charlies, in fact, Charlie P and Charlie B. I call him the King and the King. And Charles Black did come into the match in the second half, but like I said, you played, like you said, you played the full 90 minutes, and you felt like you played a much better match today than Thursday night.
Yeah, 100%. Came on last 10-15 Thursday
against Rushall.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd done a lot. Rushall were quite fast-paced, couldn't really get on the ball. They were bopping it about a bit, but today I just had to prove myself and do what I could.
Oh, well done. This week alone you played 3 matches. Tuesday night with Cookney United over at Sixfield, of all places. And then Thursday night with Diamonds at Hayden Road, and today here at Kings Langley.
So
are you a bit knackered, as the saying goes?
Yeah, definitely. 100%, definitely.
But, well, it felt like Diamonds, it was a fast-paced game. The tempo, the pace was really quick.
Yeah.
You got off to a great start with Jenson Cooper scoring in only the 12th minute. What did you make of that goal? Did you see it well?
Well, yeah, I did assist him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'd like to hope he would have finished it, and he did. Took a touch. I thought he was going to hit it first time, but done well to take a touch and put it in. Yeah.
Well, you got to give Kings Langley credit. Who was it? Leon Chambers Perillin in the 23rd minute scored a cracking goal. 35, 40 yards out. Sneds didn't even have a chance on that one.
Yeah, I know. I seen it from quite far away. Nothing you can really do about that. You can't really blame it on the keeper. Maybe our centre half he went half with it. He should have just stepped out and went with it, but can't really blame it on that, can you?
So it looked like we'd be level, all square at halftime, 1-1, but sure enough, Will Glennon with a cracking goal in the 43rd minute.
Yeah. Not much I can say about that. It was a great goal. We needed it, and we fought hard for it. So, yeah.
Well, Pharrell, my usual question: what was the mood of the team at halftime? What did Chris Nunn have to say to the players?
He always knew we was going to come back into the game. You could see till the end of first half. We just kept fighting for the ball. We was on top of them really. They couldn't really get with our counter attack. Our counter attack was quite good, and
definitely. In the second half, I felt like there were a lot more goals to come in the game. It's like the two teams canceled each other out, and it was no scoring in the second 45 minutes.
Not much I can say really.
and of all ways to finish the game, Kings Langley had 3 corner kicks back to back to back. The very last one actually was the last touch of the ball in the match, and that was probably their worst corner kick of the 3.
I was stood up top of the halfway line, to be fair, and then on the last one I got told to come in just to make sure, because there was 20 seconds left on the corner, so we just had to make sure and get rid of it.
Sure. So a nice, easy, comfortable win for Diamonds? No.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
As usual, I'm being a bit sarcastic. But, it was a great win for Diamonds, a positive way to finish what's been a tough old season, really, for Diamonds. And my first time to interview you, Pharrell, here on AFCRDTV. I like asking the players when you were a young lad. Well, you're still a young lad to me, at least. But a few years ago, did you have a favorite player as you were growing up? And which team do you support in the Premier League?
So I support Arsenal, but from a kid I was like Jesse Lingard fan.
Oh yes, of course.
I don't know why, but yeah. Even though I'm not a midfielder, I don't know. I just looked at him. Yeah.
So now we know you're a gooner or a gunner. So all right, well done, Pharrell. We look forward to seeing you many more games next season.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you.
I don't need love.